We're off to the V&A waterfront. Brian, listen, this is incredible. This is a part of not only the amazing work that you do with not only Reach for a Dream, but you've got the foundation in place, and it's something that you've laid out as a part of the legacy that is Bryan Habana since hanging up your rugby boots. And of all the places in the world to live, you've chosen the most picturesque and beautiful city on earth, Cape Town.
Rocky, so I mean, it's an amazing privilege to, have become a Springbok, played for my country on a number of occasions, but more importantly, to have been given a platform. And, I think the biggest privilege one can get is the ability to give back. I got inspired by the game of rugby back in '95. I was a 12-year-old boy sitting at Ellis Park and seeing Nelson Mandela, who could have easily used the Springbok, as a form of hurdles that they would have to overcome, but instead of doing that, he saw the power that sport could bring in uniting people. So extremely privileged to be using my platform, making a difference. And I think for the foundation, the slogan is one is better than zero. In a world where there is just so much negativity, there is so much skepticism, so much isolation and separation, being able to make a difference in one person's life is really important. So grateful for the life I led, but also for the platform that I've got given. So, and again, you talk about picturesque. I've been very fortunate to travel to some incredible places in the world, and we do have a lot of problems in South Africa. We're not going to shy away from that. But I think the cosmopolitan cultural diversity that Cape Town has to offer is absolutely exceptional. There's so much to do, and I mean, it is just as beautiful as you get. So lucky to be calling it home.
Yeah. Let's talk. I mean, we've mentioned two. There are many organizations you're involved with. We haven't even chatted about Laureus Sport for Good as an ambassador of an organization instrumental in giving back to sporting codes around the world. Where do you find time for it all? Because you're a family man. We haven't even got to the business side of what life has been like for you since hanging up the boots. But I mean, where do you find time to juggle it all?
Yeah, time management is probably not my strongest forte, and I probably say yes more than I should be saying yes. But I think trying to prioritize certain things. I've been very fortunate to have been involved with the Laureus and the Laureus family for just almost 14 years now. And I was a very wet behind the ears teenager when Nelson Mandela opened up the academy back in 2000 with the likes of Johan Rupert, Amone du Plessis, Sean Fitzpatrick, Michael Johnson, an incredible group of Daley Thompson, and those famous words that have now literally become the cornerstone of what Laureus is all about. When Nelson Mandela said, "Sport has the power to change the world," and the difference is when you can physically understand it, when you were a part of sport changing your life, it was absolutely brilliant. So Laureus, I think they've touched more than 6 million children's lives over the course of the last 22 years. In South Africa alone, we've been going for 20 years, and we're celebrating the 20th year this year. So being able to give of your time voluntarily to be able to make a difference in children's lives around the world. I've been fortunate enough to go to the glitz and the glam of the Laureus Awards, which is almost like the Oscars of sports, and it is brilliant. And seeing the likes of a Lewis Hamilton, a Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams. It's just an incredible group of the best athletes globally.
Yes.
But more importantly, what Laureus Sports for Good Foundation does, and really impacting kids' lives through using sport as a tool for social impact is phenomenal. So grateful for that journey, and then. My literally 12 to 12 job is managing my chief commercial officer position at PayMe, which, being the market leader and really using technology. We've got this incredible slogan that, our technology has been inspired by people, giving people their dignity back in what we all know in these last 2.5 years have been extremely trying financial circumstances. And we've seen that the financial impact of wellness in an individual's and employee's life, it just plays such a enormous, space within their own lives, and holistically, if you can make a difference, slowly but surely financially, that it has a massive impact. So grateful to have, use the transition period to the best abilities possible. It is one of the most trying times when you almost die a small death, giving up everything you've known for 15 or 20 years and going into uncharted territory. I've been grateful to have been working with great brands like GoPro, like Adidas, like MasterCard and HSBC. And again, when you become a part of a corporate environment that is a startup mentality, it has been exceptionally exciting.
Now, on top of all of that, you still managed time to find, or managed to find some time to be alongside a rugby field, working with some of the greats on the commentary side and punditry side, working for the international houses, still following the game very closely.
Yeah, Ryan, it is in my blood.
Yeah.
It really is. And the rugby, if you look at all the sports globally, the rugby just has some incredible values. And,
Yes.
and the biggest one probably being camaraderie and
Sure.
respect. And
Yeah.
to be involved in elements of it, witnessing, what happened in Japan in 2019
Yeah.
and, the history that Siya Kolisi and the team made over there.
Absolutely.
But more importantly, being involved in a game where there is, no real discrimination. It's a game for all sorts,
yeah.
for all sizes, for all shapes.
Yeah.
And really plays a massive impact in South Africa. It's been the one sporting code that really has given our country so much back in terms of unification and bringing people together through those 3 Rugby World Cup wins. So being able to be involved in a different capacity, I got to watch the Rugby World Cup sevens, that happened here in Cape Town. Recently, the last time we had a Rugby World Cup in any form was in '95,
Sure.
and South Africa have won the Rugby World Cup 15 code 3 times already. And like I said, to be involved in the game in certain elements, that I'm very fortunate that the other shareholders and directors in my Pay Me Now fintech company allow me to do. But it's brilliant traveling the world, going on overseas tours and seeing the Springboks apply their attitude and aptitude
yeah.
against the the best in the Northern Hemisphere is pretty special.
Speaking of which, I know you travel a lot still too, and you must get asked the question all the time. And even when you're playing days, and it gets no easier after your playing days, is that every single person who sits next to you on a plane seat that knows the game of rugby will go, Brian, what's happening at the moment? Or and it's when things are going well, Brian, isn't it so great to see this talent and that talent? I mean, you have to talk the game literally all the time. And so let's focus quickly. The box, I mean, I'm enjoying the rugby at the moment. We've had some ups, some downs, but this is, that's rugby and that's form, it's just
It is. And
par for the course.
It's professional sport, Everyone would love to have a winner the whole time. Everyone would love to be victorious. Unfortunately, from a rugby perspective, we don't see many draws in games of rugby,
Yes.
and there is only one victor. We've seen the All Blacks go through a bit of a slump over the last 2 years. We've seen the likes of France, Ireland, Argentina, really rise up to levels that have seen them compete with the best in the world. And in my opinion, it's probably the most competitive the top 6, 7, 8 teams in world rugby have ever been. And that makes for some fantastic
rugby
watching. It makes for some fantastic rivalry. And what that gives us is, and I say us because I'm now properly a rugby supporter. You never know what's going to happen. And ahead of a Rugby World Cup in France in 2023, all teams are vying to be at their best. And you look at New Zealand and what they're going through. From a South African perspective, we've had a few ups and downs. There will always be pressure on them to perform. Ahead of France 2023, going in as the world champions. We've never ever gone back to back. We tried in 2011.
Yes.
We tried in '99. We failed at a few hurdles, and this team really now has an opportunity to have a maybe more difficult route to do it. But what an incredible opportunity they will now have to stake a claim as one of the greatest Springbok sides in history. So long may their upwards trend continue. There's always cycles within rugby, and like I said, I think in an inspirational captain, Siya Kolisi, and a team that really does seem, when they gel, to be unstoppable. Long may we see them go on to hopefully in France enlève le coupe le 2023. I mean, your French lessons are going pretty well. Oui, on parle un petit peu de français.
Le jour où on veut du français.
Oui. Moi, j'aime le français aussi. Un petit peu.
You probably call me some ugly names. Now the last thing is, and this is for specifically for our car and petrol heads out there. This man loves his cars. I'll tell you this much. He loves his cars, and he's been fortunate enough to be driving in a Land Rover product for many years. In actual fact, I remember coming to visit you in France, and you came to have breakfast with me. And at that stage, a car had just launched, and we hadn't seen it in South Africa. And you didn't tell me, but you rocked up outside the hotel in Nice, and you went, "Come have a look here." Also a Land Rover product. Come look what I'm driving. And I was like, How do you have this already? And it had just launched at that stage
Yeah.
when I came over to visit. But you've got a love for cars. You've been fortunate enough to be in a Land Rover product. This is the all-new Defender. They make great vehicles.
They do make incredible vehicles. I think there's a lot of history, tradition, and culture around the Defender in particular.
Sure.
I'm going to be brutally honest, and I'm going to say this on camera. I'm probably not an old Defender enthusiast like John Smith, who's probably
He's got them
rebuilt
all.
and built about
Correct.
70, 100 of them.
Yeah.
But this new Defender is phenomenal. It has that rugged
Yes,
feel.
yeah.
You can still see the bolts, front facing for for the passengers. But it's also got this electronic advance in USB-C ports. I mean,
Everything,
this little
yeah.
cool mirror literally has a camera at the
Camera.
back, so I can see
awesome.
what happens behind me. The technological advances in still being the most capable Land
Yeah.
Rover yet is exceptional. I'm probably going to say it out loud that I'm probably a big Range Rover enthusiast,
Yeah.
and that new shape of the Range Rover is something
That is
spectacular.
beautiful.
I don't know when we'll see a few in South Africa. I think
Yeah.
launch is the end of 2022.
Yeah.
A great brand that is rugged, that is tough, but that is also incredibly modernized, sleek, and technologically advanced, which is really cool.
Wow, I love that. Listen, it's been lekker catching up with you, and because it's been long overdue. And a special thanks to our kids at the back over there. They've been really quiet, and for kids, I know it's tough to do. Nian, to you, and to Zachary at the back over there as well. These two incredible human beings behind us over here are on our way with Brian and I to do some work with Reach for a Dream. We're on our way. Do you guys know where we're going? We're going to fly in a helicopter. I can't wait.
Wow.
Brian, we're going to take these kids and have a little
Let's
bit of
do
an
it.
outing. But thanks for your time. Again, I know it's a busy schedule. To you, Janine and the boys, everything of the best. It's lovely watching your family grow up and become incredible, two young, beautifully mannered gentlemen. And to watch your career outside of rugby just blossom and grow. It's been a privilege to watch, mate. And thanks for being such a great ambassador for SA Sport.
Thanks, Rocky. Thanks,
Ciao,
neighbor.
brother.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.